Hey guys, we're here today to talk about a brand new exciting card game that has just recently come out called Redakai, Conquer the Kairu. This game was developed by Spin Masters, the makers of Bakugan, and is lead developed by a Magic player named Justin Gary, who is a national championship Magic player and a game designer in his own right. So we have a great, excellent game design here. So this is something new, which has never really been done before in card games, as far as a collectible card game, is clear cards that overlay existing cards to change the characteristics of the card underneath it. Now, a lot of the text, if you can see this on the camera, it's tough to kind of capture it sometimes, but they use a lenticular technology to kind of give it a 3D effect where it looks like it's moving. So as you play it on the characters, it actually looks like they're being attacked by whatever attack, or a monster can look a little 3D like it's coming at you. So this is a great, cool technology they have. So all the cards are actually made out of a hard density plastic, so they're very resilient to scratching. They look excellent, and they have some great colors on it. So the basis of this game, which we're going to try to explain today, is how to actually defeat your opponent. Each player is going to select 3 characters, and there's about 12 different ones, 13 different ones in the starter set that you can choose from, and each character has a special characteristic at the bottom of their card which affects that character. It gives you special power in game, a special ability, but you'll also notice that there's some numbers right here. There's colors. There's 3 colors in the game. There's red, green, and blue. Now some of the characters have a number next to them. What that dictates is whenever you want to attack a character, you have to play an attack card. Attack cards have a cost in the upper left-hand corner, and that's how much Kairu you have to play the attack. Then it has a number right here. The number dictates if the attack can hit a player or not based on his defensive value. If this number is equal to or less than their defensive value, then that player cannot be the character cannot be affected by that attack. Basically, it would just hit them, then fall right off. The point of the game, however, is to play attacks on your opponents to mark out their yellow health boxes. Once all 3 have been marked out on a character, that character's been defeated and knocked out of the game. Thus, you're down 1 character. So what you're trying to do is knock out all 3 of your opponent's characters before they knock out your characters. Now, to help you out, not only does your characters have abilities or defenses, there's also monsters that you can play. Monsters are kind of like evolved versions of the characters that they turn into, and every character has some kind of monster that looks kind of like them as a monster. As we have right here, we have Kaz. Kaz has a monster called Granite, which when overlaid with him looks similar to Kaz, but what it does is it gives Kaz a huge defense boost in blue. So unfortunately it doesn't defend against red or green attacks, but against blue we add up all the numbers together to get a solid defensive value of 600. So if any blue attack is played with a defense of 600 or less, he can't be affected by that attack. So for example, if my opponent wanted to play an attack called Electric Crush, which costs 4 Kairu and has an attack value of 450 and attacks high, we would compare the total defense versus the attack. We see 600 is greater than 400, so the attack would not affect him at all and simply just fall off the character. A turn breakdown essentially works as you decide who gets to go first. Each player draws 3 cards, and every player has a little screen right here. This comes with the championship set. You get a little screen, a little battle area to put your characters in, and you also get a little deck to hold your cards so you can actually hide your cards so you can't see what's coming up. Each player draws 3 cards, and the opponent gets to go first. They draw an extra card, so they have 4 for the first turn. Each person sets their Kairu level at 3. Now the maximum in the game is 20. You can't go any further than 20. But each turn you gain a Kairu automatically. And there's cards that can boost that beyond that, but each turn you normally gain 1 Kairu and you recharge up to that level. So the first turn you're going to have 4. So most of these attacks in this opening hand we could play. So for example, let's say this is our opponent's playing area. I could play this Electric Crush on, let's say we play on Princess Diara. Princess Diara has a defense in green and blue, but not, or green and red, but nothing in blue. So we would play this attack on her, and we'd see that it'd cover the topmost part of her attack. And it says if this attack hits, an opponent has to discard a card, so we'd force our opponent to discard a card. Now in this game there is reacts that your opponent can play. Reacts allow you to pay Kairu, discard the card, and you can knock the attack out. For example, we have one right here called Hydro Hooks that says react, and that's the only time you can use it when your opponent plays something is to react. It costs 2 Kairu, which is listed there in the little swirl. It says discard this, and it says stop an attack if its power is 350 or less. As we see here, Electric Crush unfortunately is 450, so this attack couldn't affect it. But for weaker attacks, we definitely could. You have some other examples of attacks here, such as Borealis Blast is a really good attack because it only costs 3. It has a high attack. Its power is 350, which is pretty decent. I mean, that gets by most defenses. But the greatest part about it is when you play it on the card, what it does is it changes the card underneath it. We'll notice that the defensive attributes are now blocked off by the art on the card, and that's purposely intentional to actually knock out that person's defense. So now if you had some green or red attacks that you wanted to play that were lower, they would actually cancel this out and you can now play it on him. Now also attacks, some of them do have text that while you can read your opponent's text on the bottom, it's still relevant. But there are cards, for example, that do cover that text up, and if it does, it negates that opponent's ability, or it could negate a monster's ability, which is very key. So eventually the whole point of the game is to play enough attacks to get enough momentum built up to eventually knock out all your opponent's bars, and there's a lot of ways to do that using a combination of monsters and attacks. Now the game comes in several different ways to buy it. It's available in mass market and in hobby stores. However, in hobby stores we have a few advantages that the retail stores do not have. The first thing you might want to pick up is a championship set. We sell these online. They list for $30 a piece. They're great because they come with a 44 card deck of cards they call X drives, and you get a little shield screen, they call it, a little battlefield area, and a deck box. And you also get a gold booster pack. The gold booster packs have 20 exclusive cards only in the gold booster packs, and gold booster packs are only available in hobby stores, not mass retail stores. So we also sell these available for $4.99. We also have power packs, which you'll also see at mass market, but once again we also carry them in store. They are $5.99. They come with 11 cards, a little bit more than the gold, which only comes with 6. But there's more rares in here that you're going to get more odds of getting the better rares that you want rather than this pack. We also carry structure decks, which have a thematic deck built around certain characters and certain monsters. This comes with 44 cards as well, so this gives you a good start, but you really do need to get the championship set to get the deck boxes and especially the tools you need to play the game. Redakai has a great organizational play program. They're starting up leagues. We already run leagues every Saturday. There will also be tournaments being held for it. They're also talking about doing a national circuit for this game in spring and summer of next year. There will be expansions announced for this, and we'll continue on with it. But it's a great game, something different to pass the time. It plays real quickly, so you can get several games in. Very easy learning curve. If you have any kids that are like 5 or 6 years old, there's 2 modes to play the game, so you can play either a basic mode or what we showed you today, which is more the advanced mode. But it's an excellent game. We suggest you definitely pick it up if you ever get a chance, and thank you.